So everybody, it looks like there's a brand new iPhone category coming in 2025, and here is everything that you should know. So dating back all the way to the iPhone 5 lineup, Apple's kind of had this category of iPhone which I'm considering the floater category, right? We've had the iPhone 5C, then we've had the iPhone SE, which is technically still around, and then as we got more advanced with the iPhones, then we got the iPhone 12 and 13 mini, which was kind of the smaller version of these larger iPhones. And that didn't really sell as much as they thought it would, so then they went to the iPhone Plus model, which has been the latest version of this floater going around right now with the iPhone 14, 15, and 16. And I would even consider the iPhone 10 back in the day as a floater device back then because it was a big departure from what they were doing previously with the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus lineup. And then coinciding with that idea, Apple is now taking another turn into the thinness form factor. This was a big deal back in the mid 2000s as well as the early 2010s when Apple released the MacBook Air and they were talking about the thinness of it all. And then even with the iPhone 6, 7, and 8 lineup, I don't know if people remember Bendgate, but the reason they were able to bend it so much is because these iPhones were so ultra thin, and that's the first time they really got camera bumps because the iPhone camera was too thick to fit in that thin body. And then after that, they kind of removed the idea of thinness being the ultimate form factor, but now it seems like we're going back to it, especially when it comes to the new iPad Pro models. The iPad Pro 11 and the iPad Pro 13 are 5.4 and 5.1 millimeters respectively, which is absolutely insanely thin. And then even with the new Series 10 Apple Watch, even that got a little bit thinner, and that's what they were touting, and that's what they were marketing towards us with the fact that it got thinner, and the form factor is easier to wield on your wrist. So that is what this new iPhone category is going to be. This is going to be, as of right now, being called the iPhone 17 Air model, and as the name portrays, it's supposed to be the thinnest and lightest, and the design is going to be ultra slim when it comes to a form factor standpoint. And we already know a decent amount about this thing, so let's talk about everything you should know, and then finally we'll discuss where it's going to fit in the lineup and whether or not it's going to be a good option for you, and where you're giving up from both a form factor, a hardware, and then a price standpoint as well. So let's talk about the design and what we know. And like I mentioned, this iPhone 17 Air is going to be ultra thin, with rumors talking about 5 to 6 millimeters in thickness. And when you compare that to the current iPhone 16 Pro Max model, which sits at about 8.25 millimeters in thickness, that's about a 25% reduction in overall thickness, which is a big deal when it comes to these iPhones to reduce the weight and then reduce the hand strain when using these phones over time. And then in terms of what it's going to be made of, because Apple went full titanium on the Pro models and then obviously aluminum on the non-Pro models, this is going to have some sort of combination of both because titanium does kind of give you that strength and rigidity. So we'll give you some kind of combination of both to really keep it as light as possible and fit into that Air category, which should be a foreshadow of where the price point is going to be as well. And then in terms of size, screen size specifically, this is going to be replacing the iPhone Plus model, and that's what it's going to end up fitting in terms of size perspective inside of the iPhone lineup. So it'll be about 6.6 inches diagonally in terms of screen size, fitting between the Pro and the Pro Max models in terms of size. And in terms of the screen features, will this be a 60Hz display or will it be the 120Hz ProMotion display? And as of right now, the rumors are saying that it's going to lean toward being that Pro level type of display to give you the 120Hz ProMotion, which is great to see, as well as an always-on display, which is what we only get on the Pro models, and it should be an OLED display as well. So again, start to think about what that price point is going to be in the back of your mind as we start to run down some of these specs, because next up, and this is where it gets a little bit confusing in terms of, is it a Pro level iPhone, is it a non-Pro level iPhone, or will it be in its own category, which is what I think it's going to be, because it's only going to have one camera sensor on the rear. And we've seen some mock-ups and some specs of what it's going to look like, and it might be adopting that kind of visor look that the Google Pixels have with one 48 megapixel sensor on the rear, to be able to reduce the weight and also reduce battery consumption and then also keep that thinness as thin as possible. And then on the front of it, we'll still have a 24 megapixel selfie sensor and all things Face ID overall. So now let's talk about performance and the expected processor and everything that comes with that. And again, this will continue to give you an idea of what this price point is going to be and where this fits up in the lineup. So this will be rocking a brand new A19 chip, but it won't be the A19 Pro that'll be probably in the iPhone 17 Pro lineup. It'll still be a 3nm process, it'll still be ultra efficient, but it might not be as capable as that A19 Pro. So from a performance standpoint, it'll be more than enough to run where you're gonna run on your iPhone, but it won't be the absolute latest and greatest that Apple can offer. And of course, we should have at least 8 gigs of RAM because this is going to be an Apple Intelligence capable phone. And as of right now, 8 gigs is the absolute minimum that you need to run Apple Intelligence, although we could see up to 12 gigs of RAM depending on which size variant you get, similar to iPads and iPad Pros. And then another big one that Apple's been working on is that they've been working on their own in-house 5G modem, and this might be the first time that Apple's going to be putting this in any device as a testing ground. It's supposed to be much thinner, much more efficient, much more capable, give you faster speeds, faster connectivity, and it's all going to be built into the iPhone, and it'll probably be housed in one single chip where everything will be kind of talking to each other very nicely, and it'll probably do some things that only something in the Apple ecosystem can do, because if you can own the entire vertical tech and hardware stack, then you're going to end up getting a much better product overall. So getting the A19 chip with their own in-house 5G modem is going to be something that's going to be very beneficial moving forward, not only for the iPhone 17 Air, but for any product moving forward in Apple's lineup. And then lastly, this will be eSIM only. Here in the US, we're already dealing with only eSIM capable iPhones, but that isn't the case all over the world. But this might be the first iPhone to only give you eSIM to reduce, again, that thinness as much as possible. And of course, let's touch on the battery life a little bit, because again, the thinner this is, the smaller the battery is going to be. These chips better be ultra efficient, because if not, we're going to see a big hit in battery life. One of the knocks on the iPhone mini, I have an iPhone 13 mini still that I use kind of as a secondary camera, but one of the knocks is that the battery life is pretty much atrocious. An iPhone 13 mini could never, even at its newest point, get you through the day with some hard intensive tasks, versus the Pro models have always been able to get you through an entire day, even with intense work. So that might be an issue with the much thinner iPhone 17 Air, but again, I don't think Apple would release a product that can't get you through the day from a battery life perspective, so let's see how that ends up working out. And then in terms of pricing and availability and when to expect this, obviously I think Apple's going to be releasing this during September in 2025 when they do release their entire iPhone 17 lineup. But from a price point perspective, it's going to be kind of interesting, because we are getting some of the pro level hardware like the display and the highest 48 megapixel camera sensor, but we aren't getting all the internals like the A19 Pro and things like that. So where it fits, I'm not 100% sure from a price point perspective, but because this is going to be bleeding edge and because this is going to be the thinnest iPhone that Apple's ever made, I could see this being the most expensive iPhone in the entire iPhone lineup, even though from a spec standpoint, the iPhone Pro models are still going to be a better choice overall from a power and energy consumption standpoint. So that all remains yet to be seen. Leave a comment down below what you think about the 17 Air. Is this something that you're looking forward to? Do you want your iPhone to be thinner? Are you tired of this form factor that we've had so far and maybe just want something new overall? Even if it means maybe having 2 less cameras or 1 less camera, even if it means maybe having a little bit worse battery life compared to the Pro models, let me know with a comment down below. I'm always curious to know. But that's going to be the iPhone 17 Air and everything we know so far, and as of right now, it looks like it's already starting to get into production in terms of what we've seen in the rumor mills overall. But that will do for this video, everybody. If you did make it to the end, leave a little dolphin in the comments down below so I know you made it to the end. And if you're excited for this thing, let me know in the comment. And if you want to watch more videos like this, definitely check out one of these videos right here. And until next time, I'm Fernando, and I'm out of here, everybody. Peace. I'm pretty excited for this iPhone 17 Air, and I'm definitely going to pick it up when it does come out.